Hi, everyone. Welcome to Embroidery Garden's Tuesday tip for March, all about zippers. Can you hear me? Okay, I see Jean's here, Jay's here, Birdie, Nancy. It looks like for whatever reason, it's not streaming to Embroidery Garden's Facebook page again. So if there's someone in my group who could tell, people, hey, you need to go to YouTube. Don't know what happened. Everything is set up correctly. It's technology, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to go on and we're going to talk all about zippers today. How many of you are scared to put zippers in? If you're scared, how many of you have never put a zipper in using the embroidery machine and an in the hoop design? And if you're scared, tell me why you're scared. It's really very easy. We're going to go over a lot of things about zippers. So while I'm letting some people get over here to Facebook, I'm sorry, to YouTube from Facebook, because don't know why it did this, because it is set up right. Let's talk about a few things that are coming up. So this Thursday, 2 days from now, I'm going to be hosting the Edge to Edge virtual quilting with your embroidery machine event presented by Designs and Machine Embroidery. You are going to have to register for the event, and I'm going to get a link put up for that event. And I'll tell you that during this event, it's going to be the best time to purchase software, the dime software, magnetic hoops, etc. I know a lot of you liked my 2 recent monthly demos. January, I did the how to create your own custom name a key fob. And I showed you in February how to create those yarn designs. And I did use Brothers PE Design and Dime's Perfect Embroidery Pro software. If you're interested in Dime software, this event will be a great time to buy it because they have incredible pricing. Okay. Oh, I see Pat's registered. Great. Thank you. Yeah, Pat, for whatever reason, the darn thing just screwed me again and did not post to Facebook. And I don't know why. But anyway, we're going to go on. So coming up, so that free Edge to Edge quilting event is on Thursday, the 9th. Then coming up on the 16th, we have a brand new class, a Caroline class. A lot of you have taken Caroline's classes that are presented through Embroidery Garden before. She's come up with a brand new class, and it is this cute woven fabric basket. So this is a class coming up. You can go to embroiderygarden.com, click on classes, and then register for her fabric basket class. I made mine without a handle. In my group, Caroline shows her basket with the handle, and she made an adorable spring-looking Easter basket. I posted a photo of mine in the Facebook group, and I'm just using mine kind of as a catch-all in my sewing room. Holds little rulers, scissors, point turners, all those kind of things. But this one is coming up on the 16th. I did use a serger on mine, but you can use a sewing machine. And Caroline, on her sample, she actually did decorative stitching on the little strip. So really fun class coming up, brand new. On the 23rd, Caroline is doing her ever popular wrapped handle clothesline bowl class. This class, we have done so many of them because it's just so popular. But she'll take you through how to make a bowl using clothesline. She shows you how to start it. She shows you how to make the base. We talk about embroidering on it because you can. She also takes you through adding fabric, building the sides, and creating handles, and then wrapping them. So this is a real fun class. She has tons of samples to show you. So those are the 3 things coming up. So we're going to talk about zippers, and I'm kind of looking through the comments here. So I know there are a lot of you that are afraid to put a zipper in the hoop. And again, it's really easy. I'm actually going to show you how. So basically, we're going to talk about the zippers, especially zippers by the yard, the different sizes. I'm going to show you how you can use a number 3 placement, use a number 5 zipper. So I know some of you don't know about the different types of zippers. I have personally started using zippers by the yard as my main zipper. I mean, of course, you can still use the regular zipper, and I'm going to show you examples of what I mean here in a minute. But a lot of you, just use regular zippers from Joann's, which is perfectly fine. But what I'm going to show you are some samples here next that I think will give you some ideas about how to use zippers by the yard, maybe which size of a zipper to use and which size of a design that you're stitching. But let's just kind of go over a few things right now. So we all know that we can put zippers in horizontally. That's, most zipper bags, they're put in horizontally. I have some designs that the zipper is put in vertically. So this is my large owl zipper case here. This is from my center zipper cases set. This is one of them. And this was a recent design where I put the zipper on the diagonal. So, they basically all go in the same. The zipper's just, the placement is a different direction. Okay, now recently, some of you may have seen this already, but I just dropped something. I gotta pick it up. Oh, but some of you have seen where I have posted about, I am working on a way of putting a zipper in on a curve. Okay, so it's in the hoop, but the zipper is going to be put in on a curve. So I'm going to call these 95% done in the hoop. Your fabric is going to be quilted in the hoop. See if you can see that. The fabric will be quilted in the hoop. The zipper will be put in the hoop, and the lining will be put in. All you will have to do to finish the case is to machine sew a straight line, maybe 4 inches long. That'll finish the case. If you want the inside finished off, then you'll do another like 3 or 4 inch straight seam to finish it. So it's kind of cool. It's a little bit interesting. I still have to work on the technique a little bit more. I've been doing, I've been changing up the shape. I'm also, besides this shape, working on this shape. Again, the fabric is quilted in the hoop. The zipper is put in the hoop. The lining is put in the hoop. There is, a little bit of machine sewing to finish it. But I am using zippers by the yard in these two, what do I want to call them, prototypes, testing of these new designs. You're going to have to use zippers by the yard. And these, you can see, they're holding their shape. They have foam in them. And I'm using the Sew Any Shape Foam by Dime. I love it. It's a great, great product. You'll notice that when I squish the bag, it pops back out. And that's what you want. I've done some of these using just batting, and you squish it and it stays squished. So these will be using foam and zippers by the yard in case you kind of want to maybe, start gathering up a few little supplies for that. All right, I see you love the dumpling shape. Yeah, that's a cute one. I will probably take those two that I just showed you, and they'll be separate sets because the technique, it's still kind of the same, but it's a little bit different. So let's go now where I'm going to show you some bags, and the bags there'll be different sizes, different styles, and I use different zippers, either number 3s, number 5s, or I used a regular zipper, which when I talk today about a regular zipper, I'm going to call it like one of those that you get from Joann's, a regular zipper. Sue wants to know, where is the best place to purchase zippers by the yard? So you can get them in a lot of different places. You can get them, you can Google and get them. My personal favorite that I like to get them from is Sally Tomato. And I just put a link in there to the zippers that I like. They come in tons of different colors and different hardware finishes. And we're going to talk about those in just a second. I see some people putting in hashtag garden. When I do the Tuesday tips, I don't do the hashtag garden. That's only on my monthly demos. So let's look at some bags and some different zippers in them. And I'll kind of go over maybe why I chose this type of zipper that I put in. So this is from my zippered bag set. This one happens to be made of cork and faux leather. This one has a number 5 zipper in it. We'll take a closer look at the zippers in a minute, but number 5s basically are wider. The teeth are wider. The actual zipper tape is wider than a number 3. And what I'm going to really show you today, too, the basic big tip of this whole thing is how to use a number 5 in a number 3 placement. So on this one, this bag is 8 by 8, and I chose to use a number 5 zipper by the yard. They do look metallic. A lot of them do. They are not metal. That's just the finish. It's a faux metal finish on them. And what I like too about them too is you get all these cute different kinds of shapes of pulls. But I really like how this looks. I like the boldness of the zipper on this bag. Another sample here. This one I don't have the strap on, but this one is an 8 by 12, and I used number 5 zippers again on this one. The tape on this one, the zipper tape is black, so it blends in with this black, like faux leather. But I like the boldness of the number 5, and that's a big thing. They are really bold. And I see Rebecca Arnold has posted, she wants to caution people about zippers from Amazon. They're not the quality of Sally Tomato and other companies. That's true. You know, you really want to get a zipper that has quality. That's why I personally use the ones from Sally Tomato. This bag is, I think this one's a 9.5 by 9.5. This one, though, I used, this one's a number 5 zipper. It's kind of a rainbow finish on this zipper. And I wanted to use it here because I wanted to it picks up some of the colors in the fabric. So, you know, these are things to look at when you're choosing your zipper too. Not only the size of the zipper, but the color and how it's going to blend in with the rest of your project. Because these zippers they really stand out, and it can really change up the whole look of your bag in the end, or your project. So this one I just posted on my page not too long ago. This one I stitched up as part of the Faux Leather Tour 2023 for Sally Tomato. This one is made of faux leather. This one I used, these are number 3 zippers. And, you know, I don't know about you guys, but when I start a project, I'm not one to sit there and go and cut out all the pieces and then stitch it. I kind of cut as I go. And the reason is, as the bag to me starts to come alive, meaning, you know, I look at it and it starts to form in the hoop there, I make different decisions. Like on this bag, I originally wanted this accent piece here. I thought, oh, I'm going to do that in like a black faux leather that I thought, oh, that's going to make it really nice. Then when I started stitching it and I had this part already done and, you know, the zippers were placed in, and I thought, no, you know, it's going to look a lot better. It's going to have a better flow if I use the same color. But this is a large bag. This one's a 9.5 by 14. It's my double zip organizer. And on this one, I did use number 3 zippers. These have a tan color of zipper tape and the gold finish on them. Now this is a 8 by 12 bag. This is the Adele bag. And on this one, you can see that big bold zipper. So that's a number 5 I put in there. And, you know, I'm saying number 5 on these designs. The only true design on Embroidery Garden's website that uses a number 5, that has a number 5 placement, is my Stella bag. And I'm going to show you that in a minute. All the other ones, the placements are for a number 3 zipper. So This one I put a number 5 in, and I'm going to show you how you can adapt a number 3 placement and use a number 5 zipper. This one is cork and kind of a canvas. But you can see how the zippers really add to bags. This one is a number 3. I think this bag is probably a 7 by 12, but just look how the zipper pops. If I would have used a regular zipper, in a tan color, it would not have popped like this bag does. And also the pulls. And we're going to talk about pulls too, because you can change up pulls and really change the look of a bag. So this this is my Design Your Own Hipster. This has a regular zip in it from like Joann's. And you can see, that it's blue, the teeth are blue, the tape on it is blue, the pull is blue. So, basically it kind of more blends in. It doesn't really become a focal point on a bag. I only have a couple more to show you, and then we're going to get into talking about the zippers a little bit more. This is the Stella bag. This one's out of cork. It comes with 3 different overlays that you can cut if you have a cutting machine. And this is the only bag that, like I mentioned before, the instructions call for a number 5 zipper. So you can see this, how this looks. This is a rose gold finish, and the placement lines in the design file are for number 5. This one is also a Stella, except I made it out of faux leather. And, just look at those zippers. I think it really makes the bag. It does, at least for me. It looks so much nicer and so much more high-end than if I would have used just regular old zippers from Joann's again. Just one more sample here. Now, this is my extra large zipper bag. It is for the big hoop, 10.5 by 16, and there is a number 5 in there. This bag, though, does have a placement for a number 3. Again, the zipper you choose just adds so much to the bag, I think. And this last sample, Mary, most of mine don't have the zipper number in instructions, only except for that Stella bag that I showed. It says to use a number 5 in there. All the other ones, they're just number 3s. But I'm going to show you today how to use a number 5 and a number 3. Last sample I have, it's the same set as the bag I just showed. It does come with cork overlays that you can cut on your cutting machine. But this one, notice, I put 2 pulls in it. Just kind of a design element. It certainly doesn't need to, but I just thought it looked kind of cool to have 2 pulls in it. It really just adds to it. So I hope you can tell, how choosing a zipper can affect the outcome of how your bag is going to look. If you really want to make that zipper pop, or you want to keep it in the background and hide it more. Okay, so let's see. Marcia is saying, is it easy to put the pulls on? We're going to go over that. I'm going to show you 2 different ways of putting pulls on. The bags look very designer. And, this technique that I'm going to show you about using a number 5 and a number 3, you could reverse it. However, you got to be careful when you reverse it, when you go down to the smaller zipper, okay? And some of these things might require you to test before you do it. And another thing I want to say is, I'm talking today about embroidery garden design bags, okay? I don't buy other designers' bags and, stitch them out. These are my bags and how I do it. So, it may not apply to other designers' products because everyone creates their placements and their stitch downs and all that differently. I kind of went over the bags. If there's a particular one that you want to know where it came from, put it into the chat and I'll try to see it and remember it. I do this all myself. When I do a live, no one is here helping me. So it gets a little hard for me to look over and see questions sometimes. All right. Okay. So let's get started. Let's look at some zippers now. All right. So this is what I call the regular zipper. This is a zipper from Joann's. When I talk about the zipper tape, the tape is the fabric on either side of the teeth. That's the zipper tape. These, they come packaged. They're in little packages, and you buy them by the length. When you unzip these, there's a stop here at the bottom. It's just like a little metal piece that stops the zipper from pulling off. And when you zip it back up, it stops. There's another little metal piece that stops the pull from sliding off the end. I'm going to show you in a little bit how to change this pull and how to dress up a regular zipper. Now, this one is a number 5, and you can see that this is just a length of it here. The number 5 that I have cut it, because one good thing I think about zippers by the yard is I think they're more economical than going out and buying a bunch of zippers, different lengths and different colors, from like Joann's, etc. Because when you buy zippers by the yard, usually it's going to depend on where you get it, but you're going to get a length. Like this one came from Sally Tomato. This one is 3 yards long. And you're going to notice it has a finished opening here. We'll talk about that in a second. But this one is the number 5. It's wider. The tape is wider. It's about 1.25 inches. Number 3s are about 1 inch wide. And the teeth are wider. You can notice that. Here is a number 3 zipper by the yard. Again, it's just a short length because I've used it. I've been cutting off pieces of it. You can see the difference. Let me put them back to back because this one is the number 5 and this one is the number 3. Let me just line up the edge and you can see how much wider a number 5 zipper is. So let me look to see if there's any questions. Phil, no, the sale ended last night. Sharon, you have too many regular zippers. Well, keep them because, you can always use them, especially, I have a lot of these kind of too. And what I like to do is when I'm testing something, I might use one of these instead of using one of my nicer zippers. All right, so let's talk about putting the pulls on. Let me just move these all out of the way for a minute. And first, let's talk about the ones that you purchase that have a finished end on them. Basically, what I'm going to call this is a leader. Let me hold it up here a little bit higher. You see this little plastic on there? Those are not teeth, but they're kind of shaped like the teeth. It's the leader part, I call, of the zipper. And it's going to help you to get that pull on. These zippers, if it has what I call the leader, you can pretty much just put those on, by hand. So what you would first do is kind of separate the two. Here's a number 5 pull. You do have to use a number 5 pull with the number 5 zipper and a number 3 pull with the number 3 zipper. So to put these on, let's look at the zipper pull first. It has a rounded top. You can see that the top edge is rounded. There are 2 like slots. That's where the teeth are going to go down in. The back of the zipper is flat. And, of course, you have the pull. And pulls can be anything. They can have different shapes. They can have little charms hanging off of them, etc. So to put these on, basically, I'm just going to thread one side onto the leader, thread the other side onto the leader. You kind of want to make the bottom even. And what I like to do is lay it down and then kind of hold it down and then start sliding the pull up. And then that's how you can get that zipper on very, very easily, that pull onto the zipper very easily if it has the leader on it. So what a good idea to do is when you buy a length of zipper by the yard like this is a 3-yard length, and it does come with, let me find the other end. Both ends have that little leader on them. A good thing to do is put all your pulls on as soon as you get it. And the number of pulls that you get is going to really be decided upon by who you buy the zipper from. So you just kind of zip it up a little bit. You can go back down here at the bottom, kind of pull it apart, grab your next pull, and do the exact same thing. Thread it on by the little leaders. Again, personally, I find it helpful to put it down on a flat surface, get that pull started. And of course, I didn't get that one quite in there right. You do want to try to keep the tail, the ends down here as even as you can. And now, of course, I'm having a trouble. So if you do have trouble, I found this handy zipper jig called a handy zipper jig. I got this off of Amazon, and this is what it looks like. So I know it's hard to see from the camera, but right here it says number 3. So the slot here is for a number 3 zipper. This says number 5. The slot here is for a number 5 zipper pull. So when you use it, you're going to notice this side here is shorter than that side. So have the side with the numbers facing towards you. You're going to, again, pull your zipper apart a little bit. You're going to have the back side of the zipper facing you. And when you put your pull in, you want to make sure that the curved end is facing upward, but the back of the zipper is towards you, and you just drop it down in that slot. Let me hold it up so you can see it. There's the back side of the zipper is facing me. The little curved end, you can see where we're going to put the zipper in, is here at the top, and then the pull is hanging off the other side. What you're supposed to do is to have this edge, the short edge, near you on the edge of the table, basically. I can't do that though because the camera wouldn't reach over here. But again, with the zipper facing towards you, the back of it, I pulled it apart some, and then it's going to insert the ends into the pull, and then you just pull down. You see how easy that went on? Now, I didn't get it very even down here, so I can always take that off and redo it. And let me get this set up again. Put those down in there. Again, those are those little leaders. I'm working with a zipper right now that has the little leaders on it, and then just pull it. Take it out and pull it up. Now, I want you to notice this. I'd already put a pull on, but look how kind of wonky my zipper looks. That's okay. That's perfectly fine, because after you've loaded more zipper pulls on, and I like to load them on again. So one reason is saves you a little bit of time. And another reason is you won't lose all your pulls. So if I'm ready to use this, I would take my pull and go to the end of the zipper. Be careful that you don't zip it off the end of it. And then you can just kind of open that up a little bit. And let's say I need a 10-inch length of zipper. I'd measure out, the length that I need, and I would cut it. Then when I'm ready to use it again, so we're going to pretend like it's been cut here. And then when you're ready to, use more zipper, you're just going to take your next pull and pull it up to where you need it to be. And then when you separate it, you're ready to go. Just because there's a little bump in there, once you have cut it and you separate it, then it would be straight and you'd be ready to use your next one. So that's how easy it is to do it when you have, like I said, the leaders on there, those little bitty plastic leaders. So let's talk about a zipper that, let's see, which one did I have? So let's talk about one that you've cut. You have 2 cut ends. Honestly, they're a little bit harder to get the pull on. So if you have something that has two cut ends and you want to put a pull on, you need to first try to cut the ends, as even as you can. Let me get them together. Let me cut those as even as I can. Now you're also going to notice that when you cut a zipper, I didn't get that too even, but when you cut it, zippers fray. The end of a zipper will fray after it's been cut. That's why these come pinked on bottom. It keeps them from fraying. So to put a pull in here, I've made a clean cut. You want a nice clean cut. And what I do is you take a lighter and you're going to be very careful. These are nylon zippers. And I'm just running it very quickly along that edge there to melt the fibers so it doesn't fray. Whoops, see, I didn't get that one. So let me make a new cut. And let me get that. It melts it. And so it makes a nice edge there so you can get the pull on. So let me take my number 5 pull because this is a number 5 zipper. Again, I'm going to set up the exact same way. The rounded top is towards the top. I'm in the number 5 slot and the back of the zipper is towards me. So I'm going to take that end that I made that nice clean cut. We're going to separate it some. The back side of the zipper is towards me. And then I'm going to slide it down. And again, this one's a little bit trickier because it's just trickier because you don't have that leader. So let's see, I'm going to have a problem, I think, even getting this one started. The one problem I can see right now is, see, I started to fray there again. I didn't get that melted down good enough. What that does is it kind of keeps all that little bit of fraying under control. So I put both edges in, and I am having a trouble with this edge over here. Let me look at it closely. Hey, there's a little bit of debris there. So let's try it again. Of course, it works really nice when I'm just sitting here putting them on myself. Yeah, I'm having a hard time getting this one edge in. There we go. So let me hold it up here and see it got started. And you would just pull it. You only have to, go a little bit on top of this jig because then you can take it off and just zip it up. I saw someone say, what about double zipper pulls like I showed in that one bag? Well, then you would just go to this end and put the pull on going the other way is all. That's, this one, instead of going this way, you'd have it facing going that way. And then you would use your double pull on your zipper. All right, so let's, this is a number 3. Again, this one was put on. I can show you how to do a number 3. You're just using the other slot, the number 3 slot. It goes in with the curved edge towards the top, the back of the pull towards you. This zipper happens to have the leaders on it. Even though I cut the other end, this other end still has the leaders on it. And then you just take them, put them down in there, pull it, and you got your pull on. And again, see that bump in there? All you do is separate the opposite end and your zipper's nice and straight. Let's look at one of these regular zippers and talk about changing the pull. We can't change anything else. We can't change the color of the tape. We can't change the color of the pull, but we can change out the pull and add a cute pull on. This one just has like a little heart charm hanging off of it. So what I would do here is I'm going to cut the end. See that middle part? I'm going to cut that off. And I would use a lighter and just kind of melt those quickly to keep it from fraying. separate it. This is a number 3 pull. You can only put a number 3 pull on a number 3 zipper, a number 5 pull on a number 5 zipper. Again, even though it has this little charm hanging from it, it goes the exact same way. The back is going to go towards me. It's going to go down in the number 3 slot, and the little curved ends are facing upward. The back of the zipper is facing towards me, and then I'm just going to take the ends, put them down in there, and pull. Whoops, let me take it out of there. And now I have a cute little, I would cut the zipper off. If I didn't want to use this pull, I would cut it off. And then now I just have my cute little heart. If it comes undone, you just zip it down and zip it back up. Did I go from the wrong end on this one? I don't think so. I'm not sure why. Of course, again, like I said, it worked yesterday when I did it. Let's just try going from the opposite end to see if that makes a difference. I don't think that it would, but why not try? So I'll go from this end, and let's see, I need the back side facing me. Yep, for some reason it's not doing it today, but believe me, it did it yesterday. I should have left the pull on so you could have seen that. But anyway, let me see if there's any questions. Sheila, it might work using pinking shears, but I still think when they pink these edges, you know, from like the factory, they do something because it's just not pinked. If you have a problem getting, you know, it started, you know, try that flame, you know, just be careful. And all it does is it melts that end to keep all those little bits and pieces, you know, it makes it a more solid line there for you to put that pull on. All right, I'm just checking to see what questions are coming in. All right, let's see, let's bring this one up. So I've seen that too, Anne, where what people say is to get the pull on, what you do is, let's see, I want to find a zipper that. So like here, what you can do is, let me change my camera view so you can see it better. What they do is they cut, now it's a zipper that's been cut. They're just going to cut out a little bit of the teeth. I didn't get it all the way cut across. And basically what this is doing, it's that same idea, and cut it for some reason. It's the same idea as having those leaders. Now you might want to make it a little bit higher up. It's the same idea as having those leaders like I showed on this one, these little plastic pieces. It kind of gives you that same, you know, kind of way to do it. So there's 3 different ways I showed you. You can just do it by hand. You can use the zipper jig, or you can do it just like I just showed you, like Ann mentioned, where you cut out just a few of those teeth and then use the edges of the zipper as a leader. All right, so, right, Karen, a lot of times, this is important too. A lot of times you have to use the same pull as you do the zipper from the same company, because again, there are slight differences in everything. So, you know, you could try it. That's the whole thing. Everyone needs to just try to do it. So let's talk about now about using a number 5 and a number 3. So let me change my camera again and let me grab this hoop. Let me kind of move some of the stuff out of the way. So what I've done here already, let me get this up here. These are both number 3 placements. I went ahead and I put this whole zipper in a number 3 zipper. I even went ahead and did the fabric on the back side, the lining. This would be like how one of my bags starts. This is, I went ahead and I stitched the placement line for a number 3 zipper. So I'm going to be using a number 5 And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to use, let me pull the pull off of this one. I need that. I'm going to use this number 5. Let me get it set here in a number 3. So again, the number 5s are wider. It's wider than that number 3 placement. So to compensate for that, to make sure that I get the zipper straight, because that's the big thing. If you're going to put a zipper in, you want the zipper to be straight. So I've gone ahead and I've stitched the placement. This is the number 3 again. So after you've stitched it, let me grab my ruler and a pen. Doesn't matter, a pen, pencil, marker, whatever. But what you need to do is you need to have an 1/8 inch mark on your ruler. This is an embroidery garden ruler. And you're going to draw a line. Let me get it lined up first. You're going to draw a line to the outside of your stitched placement on both sides. So here's my stitched line. Here's the line I just drew. I'm going to do that on the other side. And let me again line it up. Draw my line. Now the outer lines are my placement for a number 5 zipper. Very easy to do. And as you set it down, you can see it's going to fit right there in those 2 lines that I drew. So what I like to do is sometimes when I put a zipper, you have to secure your zipper down next. That's the next step. First is the placement. You put your zipper down, you secure it down. Then the next step will actually stitch it down with stitching. So we have to get it lined up first. What I like to do then, you can see my cutting mat underneath my hoop. I like to line up those placement lines with the actual lines on my cutting mat. Now there are a couple of ways of securing the zipper down before it gets stitched down. So there's always tape. And I prefer medical tape, 3M transport tape. I get it off of Amazon. I was grabbing some links for you guys for some of these things that I use. And I looked on Amazon for the tape. The last time I ordered it was in 2017. I got 12 rolls of it. This is the 1 inch wide. I got 12 rolls. It was like $13. I have 4 rolls left. And you guys know how many in the hoop designs I do and how much testing and everything has to go into it. And I still have 4 rolls left. I keep them in a drawer. They're all perfectly fine after 6 years of having them. So, I mean, for the $13 I invested, I really got my money's worth with this tape. So I can either use tape like that. Just a little bit ago, like years ago, especially when I was teaching and traveling, I would like to use this 1/4 inch double-sided fusible. It's just like a little sticky tape. You use it for hems and things and sewing. But to put a zipper down, you would cut 2 pieces and they would go to the inside of the placement line. On both sides, you put one here and then you put one here. Burnish it down, with your nail or something. Peel off the paper side, then you would have 2 pieces of tape, and then you just set your zipper down and it secured the whole length of your placement. Another thing you could do is you could use one of these pins, these Solon glue pins. These pins, let me open it up. It has glue here at the top. You kind of turn it to, get more glue out. But you could just draw a line. And I like these because you could draw kind of a small line if you use the edge and draw a small line to the inside of each of those placement lines. This glue is water soluble. You can stitch through it. It's not going to hurt your machine. It's not going to hurt your zipper. It's not going to hurt your fabric. What I'm going to show you today is old school with the tape. So I get my zipper placed. I'm going to pull some tape off of here. And another reason I like this tape, let me just get a piece pulled off, is that it's perforated. So now I can take that 1 inch strip and I can use smaller pieces. So this is, I don't know, maybe a 1/4 inch. I'm just going to let me get my zipper pulled to the end. One thing too is I'm, again, doing a small sample here. You want your pull to extend past the line, the end of the line of your placement. You want the pull to extend past there, and you need zipper down here at the bottom for it to extend past. So let me just kind of line it up, put this piece of tape. I like to put it over the top of the zipper. I get it lined up where I want it and then push it down. So now the top edge of my zipper is in place. I'm going to pull off another piece, kind of tear it in half a little bit more. And now I'm going to make sure that everything is nice and straight. And I'm going to come down here and put another piece of tape. So now my zipper is nice and straight. That's the most important thing. If you put your zipper in crooked, it's going to be crooked. So make sure that it is straight. What I also like to do is take smaller pieces of tape. Let me get that pulled apart. And what I'm going to do is, I know that the next step coming is going to stitch my zipper down to the stabilizer. It's going to stitch right along the edge of both sides to secure it down. So I like to take smaller pieces and put them very close to the edge of the zipper. Okay, that's very close. You can see it on the zipper there on the black, and it's just maybe 1/8 of an inch on there to hold it in place. I'm going to put another one over here on this side. And again, I'm at the very edge of that zipper. You know, I could put ones down here. If I'm doing a project in a larger hoop, you know, I might put 2 or 3 sections of tape going down there. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and put a little bit more tape here. It never hurts to add more tape. And another thing you want to do is your pull. You want to tape the pull out of the way. Because as you're working, you don't ever want that pull to flip backwards and maybe get into a line of stitching. You can see on this one, I tape the pull down. That's just to keep it out of the way. So again, first step was the placement. I got my zipper down. The next step is going to be stitching the zipper in place with the tack down. So I'm going to go ahead and get this on there. And we're going to go ahead and start. And you can see it's going to go down one edge of the zipper, this side. Then it's going to stop. And it's going to come over to this edge and stitch the other edge down. It goes to the opposite edge, and it's going to stitch it down. What we're going to be looking for, I'm going to add the main fabric, would be for our bag, to the edges of the zipper and the lining, because I want you to see how this zipper is going to actually look when it would be in a finished bag. Marianne, I'm just using some, this is the cutaway mesh type stabilizer. This is just a demo. I'm not making a whole bag, but I do use, you know, the lightweight cutaway stabilizer when I make my bags. So now you can see my placements. I don't need this tape anymore along the edges. I can keep that tape. It's still usable for my project. So now I'm ready to continue on. And let me go ahead and take this tape off because I don't need it. What I'm going to do is I am going to leave this bottom tape on just because I have this big tail and I don't want it flopping around on me. So in my designs, the next step that we would do is go to the back side and add the lining fabric on. So before I go to the back side, I'm going to, of course, use one of my hoop and press pads. So the hoop and press pads, if you don't know, it's these pads that I developed, and Dime manufactures them. They're for standard hoops, oval hoops, and we have them now for multi-needle hoops. So what the pad does when you work on the back side on an in the hoop design, You put the pad down. It has a non-slip surface on the back side. Put it on your table. Turn your hoop over to the back side and place it on top. Now we have a nice firm surface that we can work on. So my next step in this design would be to take one of my lining pieces, right side down, and I line it up with the edge of the zipper. That's not the stitched line. I know it's a little hard to see that stitched line, but it's the edge of the zipper. So I get it in place, take some tape, and with my hoop and press pad underneath there, I can press down now really hard. It doesn't matter what tape you use, but you have to be able to press your tape down hard no matter what kind of tape you use to make it adhere well. So that piece is on the back. We're going to go over to, whoops, I put it along the wrong edge. I got confused because I've got these two things going on. So this one actually goes along this side of the zipper. And I'm lining it up with the edge there of the zipper that I can see through my stabilizer. Okay, now let's go to the front side. And I'm going to take this will be my main fabric, put it right side down along that same edge. You can tape it down if you want. A lot of times I don't tape down the fabric on the front just because gravity holds it, but I am today just so I don't have any problems. So let me go ahead and change the camera because the next step will stitch these two pieces down to the edge of that zipper. And the reason I'm going through all of this again is because I want you to see how the zipper is going to end up looking when it's done compared to the number 3 zipper, since we changed to a number 5 zipper. So most of my designs, after this gets stitched down, let me pull this out of here so you see a little bit. I'm going to be placing a piece of batting down. I can remove that tape and put on there because I don't need it. And then I would take this top fabric, fold it over, and at this point, I would iron. This though is going to lay pretty flat for me like this. So go ahead and put it back on. And now this is going to do like a little stitch on the other side of the zipper to hold the batting down, to hold the fabric down. All of my designs don't have this stitch. It kind of depends on how I want the finished bag to look, like how I design it to look. Some of them have this stitch, some of them don't. Some of them I want to have a more cleaner look to them. But I wanted to put this stitch in on the sample so you can see what it's going to look like when it's completely finished, because we did add a larger zipper. Let's go back to the table. So the next step now would be to go to the back side of the hoop again. I could take the tape off because the fabric is stitched down. Fold it over, and at this point, I like to press. This is what pads were originally, this is what the pads are intended for. A lot of people, you just fold the fabric over, you tape it here, and look what happens. You get like this bubble here because you can't get it perfectly flat, even with tape. And tape won't really even hold it. So you need to fold it over, and you get my iron over here and press it with an iron. So when you press it with an iron, and my iron, I just got it turned on to heat up, you're going to see that it makes that fabric really nice and flat. I've found that when I press in the hoop like this on my hoop and press pad, most of the time I don't even have to tape this fabric down because it's laying very flat because it is pressed down, ironed down. I am going to tape it just because, doing this live, who knows what might happen. Okay, so the next step in most of my bag designs would be to take the other lining piece, place it along the other edge of the zipper, tape it down, Again, the hoop and press pad is under there, so I can really press down to keep that on, because we really hate when we go to the hoop and our fabric is falling off back side, don't we? All right, so let's get the piece on the front, and we're almost going to be ready to see how the number 5 looks in the number 3 placement. Let me go ahead and just use this piece of tape for this part up here. And you're going to see, I believe you're really going to see that using the number 5 with a number 3 placement, it still looks perfectly fine. And the reason that I am showing you this is because people like to use number 5 zippers now. I think that number 5 zippers were like the first zippers by the yard that came out. Then number 3 started to get more popular. Let me just take this tape off real quick. And I'm going to put the batting down just like I did on that other side. Goes right next to the stitch line. I'm going to fold it over. Normally I would iron this down, get everything all nice and even, but I'm just going to hold it here while it stitches. And then we're going to be ready to look at it and see how the number 5 looks in the number 3 placement. And again, remember, I'm talking about embroidery garden designs, because this is the way that I do my placement. I have certain measurements that are for the tack down and the other stitching on either side of the zipper if I've added it. Okay, let me just stop this, pull it out, because this one is done. So let's go to the table. Of course, on the back side, I would undo this. If I were really working on a bag, get that tape off. You don't need it, stitch down. And again, I would fold this lining piece over, and I would use an iron to press it in place before going on with whatever instructions this particular design called for. But let's look at the front side. So again, here is the number 3 put in the number 3 slot. Here is the number 5 zipper put in using the number 3 placement. I think it looks perfectly fine. It did not stitch, too close to, either edge or anything. So there's no reason why in embroidery garden designs that you can't use a number 5 and a number 3 placement. So that's basically, it. Yes, June, I did flip that piece over on the back. Again, this is just a sample. I'm not showing you, an entire bag how to stitch. What we're focusing on here is how does the number 5 look being used in a number 3 zipper placement? Does everyone think it looks great? It looks perfectly fine to use the number 5 and a number 3. And really, all you had to do was use that ruler and make yourself a new placement with a pin. And you do want to, use that pin and make that new placement because, this was a short sample. I mean, it was only, maybe 5 inches long. If you're doing a bag and the zipper, you need a 10-inch zipper or something, you want to make sure that it's straight, going all the way down, because if it isn't, when you stitch it, it's not going to be straight and it's going to be crooked. Let me see if there's any other questions. I had another thought that I was going to tell you, and of course now it kind of slipped my mind, but let me just make sure. Okay, now some of my old designs don't have the tack down, but you would do it the exact same way, stitch those placements, redraw your line, put your zipper down, and tape it. Exact same thing. And, really the only difference in some of these bags, like I said, is the look that you are going for. You want something big and bold, use, one of these zippers by the yard that has, nice big pulls on them. They have that look of metal, but they really aren't. That's something you would never, ever want to do in the hoop design is use a metal zipper, and don't use invisible zippers. they those don't work. So if there's not any other questions, I'm going to let you go, and be sure to post, your embroidery garden projects in the Facebook group. Be sure to follow me on Facebook. I do have a separate page other than the group, and follow me on Instagram. I show a lot of different things on Instagram that I don't show in my groups, because there are other things I like to do just besides in the hoop machine embroidery. So let's see, any other questions? So let's see, it's only the placement lines affected, not the final stitching lines. Okay, well, what you're doing is, if you're going to use a 5 and a number 3 placement, you're going to redraw your placement line so you can get your zipper nice and straight. But if you look at this, it doesn't move those lines, certainly. I mean, once I've digitized the lines in, they're going to stitch where they were meant to stitch. But as I look at it, I really don't see that much of a difference in, in these two. This one might be a tad bit further from the zipper teeth, this white line, but it certainly doesn't affect anything. Everything is all stitched down. So, there isn't a problem to me to use a number 5 and a number 3. And, if you were doing that opposite, now, I said, test that before you go the opposite way. All you would do then is, instead of drawing, after you stitch your your number 5 placement, take your ruler and go to the inside along both edges, 1/8 of an inch, redraw the line, and then that's where you're going to place your zipper. So, give it a try. That's all you can do, is just try and see how it turns out. So remember to join me Thursday for my free edge-to-edge quilting event presented by Dime. You need to register for that, and be sure to sign up for Caroline's classes. So you guys have a great day. Thanks again for joining me, and sorry I didn't stream to Facebook.